Hello everyone, I'm here with the Art as Fashion, Fashion as Art group. Tonight is the group 2 presentations on May 27th, 2021. We will start talking about the show and presenting the work of each artist designer, and then we'll have a chance for question and answers after all of the presenters will present. After each presenter presents their piece, we have a chance to talk to that presenter and ask questions. And tonight we're going to begin with Alyn Carlson. Alyn is going to talk about these images I will be showing from the show. These are Alyn's 2 pieces. On the left is the bujagi dress, and on the right is a printed top and matching pants that are printed using that beautiful painting that you can see on the wall behind the designs. I'm not going to talk much more beyond this short introduction because I very much am looking forward to Alyn talking about these designs. And Alyn, you might have some images that you want to share after we go through these images, and that would be fine too.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Hi everybody. It's so nice to be included in this. I'm just so excited about the work that I've gotten to see, and also being pushed to a level that I hadn't quite done before, and it was very nice to work with Adrian on that. I am a combination of things. I'm a designer, and when I say designer, I mean like graphic designer, creative director. I have a background in advertising. Everything that I started with when I would do graphic design and advertising would be color. Color is very important to me. I feel like it's the best way to express emotion. And over the last 15 or 20 years, I've been a performer and actor as well as painter. And all of these things sort of relate because of color. My parents met in art school. My mother ended up to be a designer of wedding gowns and seamstress. My dad was a painter and illustrator. So I kind of have both of those things that I do to make a living. I have a studio in New Bedford at Hatch Street Studios. I share it with Tracy Barboza, and I live right down the street. My loft that I live in looks out on the river, the Acushnet River. So every morning when I get up, which is usually sunrise, I get to study light and I get to study color. And most of my painting is about how water and land interact and what changes at that line. And I've done a series of paintings called Aquilinia, Land and a Line and Water. And this painting that you see on the wall is one from that series. Some of them are as large as 7 feet wide. It's like standing in front of a river or a piece of land. And I got very interested in how light comes through fabric and how it comes through crystal. I was a creative director at Swarovski Crystal for 5 years and directed a lot of fashion shoots there. Really got an appreciation for looking at what was coming up on runways twice a year and thinking about that in terms of how to present the jewelry line. So color and sparkle and light filtering through things brought me to bujagi, which is the Korean type of quilting. And very often it's hung in windows, hung in doorways where light can come through it. It's normally done with 2 types of fabric, a rami and a silk organza. I chose to make my piece out of silk organza. The stitching is all enclosed. It's sort of a, I guess you could call like a French seam. It's reversible. The garment can be reversible if you want it to be. And of course, it's transparent. So as I developed this piece, I had to think about what was going on underneath it as well, and created a very simple silk piece that went under and sort of was very fluid. The piece itself, because it's organza, has kind of a different kind of fluidity. It's a little bit, it sort of rolls around, I guess, on the bottom. You can see it the most. But the colors are all based on that painting, and it was interesting to play with how the brightness from the painting I was able to kind of recreate that with a pajagi. But the soft, muted quality that you often see with water and water flowing over land was something that I was able to bring out with the chiffon. And Adrienne did a wonderful job printing my painting. I had a high-res scan of it, and we were able to print that on chiffon, and I made a very simple tunic and fringed the bottom of it, which took a little bit more time than I anticipated. I had never done that before, pulling thread by thread. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't appreciate, I guess, the softness and the brightness of the painting until I sort of pulled them apart in these two garments, and I was able to kind of look at that in a different way. The paint I use is a paint from the south of France, Chabron paint, which was developed for Impressionist painters to paint plein air. So it has a quality that really is about landscape and the softness that you can find, as well as the brilliance. So I made a pair of pants, very loose pants, out of the same fabric that I had made for the piece that's underneath the pajagi. I think that the two of them, they move very differently on the body. I do have some photographs of that, and I don't know if you have those or not, Adrienne, but you can pull those up. Yeah, no.
You want to try to share your screen to show those?
Yeah, let me see if I can, I've got them here. Wait a sec. I've got them here. Yeah. Let me just see. And I think it's, let me see if I can drag those into, oh, here we are. Can you see those? Am I, oh, here we go. Okay, great. It's not
there
perfect.
We
Here
are.
we
Yes,
are.
I can see those. Like,
you can see them? Okay, great. So you can see how I pieced these together, and I did it in a very, very random way, in that all the colors work so beautifully together that it didn't quite matter. There was proportion that I was looking for, brights being smaller pieces, softer, more neutral tones I used for larger pieces. Here's a shot of how you can see that I'm starting to put things together, playing with verticals, horizontals, and just using a really big table, then sort of working them into a shape, figuring out how much more I needed. In terms of making the fabric and pressing the fabric, I think one sleeve probably took me 8 hours to build the fabric alone. And then here you can see after it's all pressed and then top stitched. And this is what it looks like on the dress form as I was trying to figure out what the sleeves would be. Wasn't too sure what direction I wanted to go in. I sort of wanted to honor the Korean shape, which is why I made it full at the bottom, and I had sort of debated, should they be squared sleeves? And I ended up with something that was just very, very super simple. This is the fabric laid out on white. You can see it's got a little bit more vivid quality to it. Had a very nice hand. It was really fun to kind of move around and play with. And this is the pajagi in my studio. The light in my studio is really exceptional in the afternoon. This is the chiffon piece that I'm wearing. It moves really, really beautifully and very different than, of course, the pajagi. Doing a little Stevie Nicks here. The fringe was something that was really, actually it was a suggestion of Adrian's, and I'm so glad that I did it. I think it really made a difference in the piece. And so when we were shooting it, I did, I've done a lot of fashion shoots through the years, and always trying to figure out whatever the garment is, what is the kind of quality that you want to bring out. And it was interesting that light coming through the pajagi was essential to sort of showing off its quality, whereas the chiffon, I needed a soft light sort of grazing across it or in front of it. And photography of garments is something I've done a lot of, and I wish I'd had a little bit more time to work on this, as it would have been fun to shoot. I think we had like a couple hours. My partner is a photographer, so we just sort of played with it. So that gives you an idea of how the garment looks on. And then I also have a few of my paintings. So those are actually journals. I do journal a lot, and I spent a lot of time working on the journals before I sort of went in the direction of the pajagi. Pajagi kind of came about after my fascination with color and light in a very soft, kind of muted way. This is just my morning view, my studio. I work in paper, as well as you can see the Swarovski influence here on a mask. I have a fascination for hats, especially paper hats. Illustration that I do on a regular basis for local clients. And then these are some of my paintings. These are all part of, most of these are part of the Aquilinea body of work that I've done. These are 7 foot wide. It's been so enjoyable doing this project that now every time I look at a painting, I see a garment. I want to capture it in fabric and make it something that I can wear. So the wearable art was a great thing for me to get to be involved in.
Alyn, I'm going to open it up to questions at this point. For me, the questions I have written down are questions that you've already answered, which was about, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah? I can. Thank you.
And we can leave up any of the images that you want if you want to keep up any of those. I was wondering about, how much time it might take to complete 1 square foot of your pajagi design. And I think you answered that by saying it was 8 hours to construct or build, as you put it, build the sleeve.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazement to me to look at this pajagi piece and look at the careful stitching that you've done, and the beautiful colors, and thinking about the time involved and the planning involved. My second question you've also answered, I think, was about how did you select the colors? Was it easy to find the colors that you wanted in that type of fabric that the quality you were looking for? I was also wondering if maybe you dyed the colors, but all of the colors I'm understanding were existing fabric. Is that right?
They were, and I don't have great access to fabric stores other than just on Etsy and online. And I was able to find a couple of companies, Korean companies that shipped. It took a little while to get in the fabric. This was actually a project that I made to go into, I was submitting it to the International Pajagi Conference that happens every 2 years in Korea. And it was happening right around the time I was going to Japan with a group of women to do some indigo dyeing at a workshop there. So everything, of course, got canceled. And it was just really heartbreaking to not be able to show the piece. And I was just so excited that that you and I had spoke about it, and there was a place for it finally. But I do have another piece of art in mind that I'm going to be building a Pajagi outfit and maybe some shibori with it. One of my paintings it's very dark, deep blues. These are a series of paintings I've done of lakes in Maine at night. So that I am going to get into some of the dyeing of fabric, and which is new for me. I haven't really experimented in that. I'm very excited about it.
Ellen, this is Martha. Your
Hi.
pieces are gorgeous and very inspiring. I love how you worked with the light, and not only with the chiffon, but very conscious of the light element in what you put together. These are just spectacular pieces.
Thank you.
I've only seen, you know, the pictures that Adrian published. So to hear your story is just fantastic. They're exquisite.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I have. I think that whenever I start a project, it's usually because 2 colors or 3 colors bump into each other in front of me, and they just stop me. And often I try and put colors together that I think are kind of ugly together and see what comes out of it, because I find that it's very easy to go to something that's a little too pretty or a little too beautiful, and there's no dynamic quality. So sometimes I put things together that are more dissonant, and that's kind of a fun path to take when you're working on a project.
Thank you, Alyn. We're very much looking forward to more wearable art from you. And
Great.
also, if you're interested, maybe a Pujagi sewing workshop someday, because we would love to see
that. Yeah, it would be so fun to get a group of people together to do that. We need a lot of irons and ironing boards too, because there's just as much ironing as there is stitching. It's yeah.
And is it a certain, you know, does it have to be the more industrial iron, the one that we all wish that we had that I don't have right now?
I don't know. My iron died in the middle of this project, and I had to run out and buy a new one. And I think I upped it a little bit, but no, I don't have. My mother's iron is amazing. She's, you know, got the big industrial thing, but she's promised it to me in her will, she says.
So maybe we can host it upstairs in the UMass studio. We do have a series of steam.
Oh, wow. Fun.
Iron. A lot of table space.
Good. We'll all wear our cool clothes.
Alyn, thank you so much for your presentation and the introduction to your process and your view from your home, and your waking up in the morning and studying light. It was great to see your paintings, and of course your flowers and your hat. We definitely look forward to seeing more work, and thank you so much for presenting tonight.
Thank you.